Keith from Beat the Casino. Right here we are live in Las Vegas on Fremont Street. We're having a great time playing Blackjack and Baccarat. Come on down, join our club.
Okay, I want to go ahead and get through some basic terminology so you understand triggers. We use a vertical scorecard here, player, banker, and we use this as a score column a lot of times. And then of course this is just the number of plays, and I put a little divider here so that we have 10 hands and then the next 10 hands. Okay, pretty basic stuff there. Okay, so first up, we always just put a circle, whatever side wins. Let's say in the first hand, player won. And then let's say on the second hand, banker won. And we're just going over this is just for terminology's sake right now. This is anytime it changes sides, or in other words, if one hand is player and then the next hand is banker and then the next hand is player and next hand is banker, as happened here, we call that an opposite. Okay, so this is an opposite. If player would win this hand, then this is an opposite. So there's one opposite and then there's two opposites here, okay? Also, too, as soon as we get an event surrounded by two hands, we can qualify the event. This here, right here, this banker win, that's a 1 in a row, okay? The last play of the shoe before the next hand is drawn is always called a potential whatever it is. This is a potential 1 in a row, or it's a potential 2 in a row, depending upon what happens. Let's say, for instance, if banker won this, then that's a 1 in a row. This is a potential 1 in a row or a 2 in a row. If banker wins again, then it's a potential 3 in a row or a potential 2 in a row, because until this next hand occurs, you really can't qualify this. All you know is that this is a repeat and it's going to be at least 2 hands long. So this is at least a 2 in a row. So it's a potential 2 in a row, or it could be a 3 in a row if it goes to banker. So we'll say it goes to player. So now we know for sure that that's a 2 in a row. Here's a potential 1 in a row, or it's a potential 2 in a row, depending upon what happens. Well, we'll say it goes to player. Now let's put a couple more in so we can fill in the scorecard a little bit here. Okay, so if we have this is a 4 in a row. This was an opposite, a repeat, another repeat, another repeat, and then an opposite. So this is a 1 in a row, a 1 in a row, a 2 in a row, a 4 in a row, and an opposite. And then let's go ahead and fill the rest of them in. And you can see, we'll tell you about this. So this is a 4 in a row. Now this can also happen with zigzag runs, okay? So here's how you count a run. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's how you count a zigzag run. You got to count the first one of the zigzag run too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a zigzag run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long. That's exactly the same, except it only occurs on one side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll say it goes opposite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a run of repeats of 6. This is a run of zigzag of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You always got to count the one that it starts on. It usually ends off a run. Okay, so just some terminology to clear everything up. Don't forget, this is a zigzag, this is an opposite, this is a 2 in a row, this is a 4 in a row, an opposite, that's a 1 in a row, run in a row, 1 in a row, 1 in a row. Here's a 2, 4, 6 in a row, and then an opposite. We still don't know what this is yet, other than it's an opposite. Okay, let's take a look at the first trigger. Suppose we walk up to a game, and the first thing I want you to notice about this game is that there's a 3 in a row in this game here already. Okay, so that's good. So that's a qualifying event that must occur in the game for us to use this first trigger. The rule states, after 3 2s without a 3 in between, bet the next 2, which is a potential 3, will go to a 3. And again, do not accept this trigger if there isn't a 3 in a row in the game. So here's a 3 in a row in a game, so that's qualified. Let's say, for instance, we see a 2. So we'll go ahead and make 2 players. And let's say it goes to banker. And then we'll go back to 2 players. And we're watching the game, and then it's going to go over to 2 bankers. Okay, so here's the game. And then we're going to come over here to 2 players. Here's a game where here is 2 players. Then we got an opposite. Then it went back to 2 more players. Then it went over 2 bankers. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3 2 in a rows without a 3 in a row in between. Now there was a 1 in a row in between. That's okay. So we have this one, and this one. And now, once again, we're presented with a potential 2 or 3 in a row. Okay, so the trigger says after 2 in a rows, 1, 2, 3, without a 3 in between, bet the next 2, potential 3 will go to 3. So our bet is going to be right here, 1 player. We're going to bet that they are unable to deal 4 2 in a rows consecutively. Okay, so that's a good bet. And in this case, if we lose this bet, okay, we're going to wait till the next occurrence, and then we're going to use a negative progression to bet it again. But for now, we're just going to show you how to do the first one. So you got that? Here's the first 2 in a row, second 2 in a row, third 2 in a row, 3 2 in a rows in a game. The next time it occurs, we're going to bet that it's not going to happen again. We're going to bet that this goes to a 3 in a row. And hopefully we'll get to circle it and say we won that one. I'll show you what to do if we lose it in the next. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what happens if we lose it. Okay, so we're going to bet that this is going to go to a 3 in a row. So we put our 1 bet there. And let's say we lose. It does go to a 2 in a row. Okay, so the next hand, we have to wait. And just for example purposes, let's say it goes to another 2 in a row. Now here's the situation. Here's a 1, 1 2 in a row, 2 2 in a row, 3 2 in a row, 4 2 in a row. This is the 5th 2 in a row. So we're going to bet a negative progression that they can't do it 2 more times now. So we lost the first one. Okay, then so here's the second one. Now some people play at 1 1 2, which you won't win. You'll break even if you win the next bet. Some people play at 1 2 3. It's a more aggressive style. Let's do 1 2 3 just so you see. Okay, so we'll bet the 2 is going to go to a 3 in a row. Let's say we lost that. And let's say this happens. Now again, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times they dealt 2 in a row without a 3 in between. So this will be our last bet. Let's bet a 3. You'd bet a 3 here. Let's say we won that one. Now if you lost that one, you'd probably want to just leave the tape. Okay. Some people like to bet at 1 2 3. That way, if you win the first one, you win 1 chip. You win the second one, you win 1 chip. You win the third one, you'll break even on the progression for the most part without the commission. It may be something to consider. Some people like a stronger progression. It's up to you. I personally like 1 1 2 or 1 2 2. Make it a 2 high. So that's what happens if you lose the first bet, lose the second bet, and hopefully you'll win the third bet and won't go any further than that. Okay, I want to take a second here and pause and just talk about progressions. I touched upon the base 1 unit bet size. When we talk about 1 2 2, let's talk about $25 level. Obviously, if it's a $100 level, a 1 bet is 100. A 2 bet is 200, a 3 bet would be 300. At the $25 level, obviously, a 1 1 2 progression would be bet 1 unit, $25. The second bet bets $25, and the third bet bets $50 or 2 units. And it translates to 1 2 3 is 25, 50, and 75, 25, 50, and 100, so on and so forth. Whichever one you're comfortable, the more money you get on the table, the more torque you'll have, and the more money you'll win in each hand. There are times you'll break even on the first 2 bets, or break even on all 3 bets, as with the 1 1 2, except unless you win the first one. So you need to experiment and see which one is most comfortable for you. Also, too, if you don't want to start out at a $25 level, you can think of it as instead of a 1 1 2, think of it as a 2 2 3, where your base bet is $10. So a 2 unit bet would be $20. So you're going to start with $20, and then your final bet is $30. Obviously, if you win a third bet, you lost $10 on the progression, which isn't that hard to make up. You can increase the progression if you have risk tolerance for that. 2, 4, 5, you'll win $2 or $20 on the first bet, $20 if you win the second bet, and you'll lose 1 chip on the last bet. You can certainly do 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 7, whatever tolerance you have. I recommend starting at 2, 2, 3 or 1, 1, 2. It's a good way to start. The casino isn't going anywhere. You can take your time and work up to higher units. Always seems to work out a little bit better rather than increasing the negative progression torque. So just a little bit there about negative progressions, how we bet them. Don't forget, whenever you win, you're done with the progression. You won the trigger. Look for another one or go to another game. You'll always see more, usually see more opportunities to bet more than one trigger. This was the first one. Let's go ahead and talk about the rest of them now. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the next rule. Let's just sketch in a game here, a couple plays. Okay, let's say that's the game start. It starts off with 2 there and maybe a 3 here. And a 2 here, or a 3. Let's make this a longer run. Okay, so we're watching this game. And we see this. Okay, now notice there's been no, ignore this for now, there's been no 1 in a row. So here's a 2, here's a definitive 2, here's a 3, here's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, and here's a 2 in a row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. The rule states after 4 or more 2 in a rows, bet the next potential 1 will stay a 1. So what we're betting, what we're looking at, just from a logic standpoint, is there's been no 1 in a rows in this shoe yet. Okay, so we're going to bet a negative progression that certainly there's going to be a 1 in a row. So for this, to bet that this is going to stay a 1, you need to bet your 1 bet right over here that it's going to go opposite. So we'll put our 1 bet 1 there. Now if it would win, we'd circle it and we won the first bet of the progression, or if you start with a 2, 3, 4, okay. If we lost, then of course this would have went to a 2 in a row and we would have lost that bet. So if we take that away, and we'll say that we lost that bet. So if we win, we would have stopped and looked for another trigger. But let's say we lost that bet. Okay, so let's say it goes on. Goes on again. Now here, as soon as if it goes opposite again, you have a potential 1 in a row again. So now there's 5. So you can either bet whatever progression. Let's say we're just, for simplicity's sake, say we're betting a 1, 2, 3. So our next bet would be betting that this goes to a 1 in a row. And for it to come in a 1 in a row, it would have to come back over to the banker's side. So if we lost that, we'd put the circle here, and then we'd wait. Okay, so player again, still no opportunity. Okay, now as soon as it switches sides again, there's a potential 1 in a row, and we'd finish the progression here, and hopefully we'd win that. So again, you just count the number of 2 or more in a row. When it gets to a point where there's there's 4 without a 1 in between, you're going to bet a negative progression that it's going to be a 1 in a row. And we finally caught it here in the end. Okay, let's take a look at the next rule. After 3 potential 3s stay 3s, bet that the next time it's going to stay a 2 in a row. So if we're just looking at a game, and I'll just arbitrarily put some starts down in, and what I'm assuming here is you're just going to walk up to this game and see this, so that we're not starting at the beginning of the game. Okay, let's say we walk up to this game and we start watching a little bit, and we see this, and something like this occurs. Okay, so there's 1, 3, there's a 3, and there's another 3, and let's say that this goes opposite, and then it goes opposite again. So now we have a situation where we have 1, 3, confirmed 3, another confirmed 3, and another confirmed 3, without a 2 in a row in between. So here's a potential 2 in a row. Now, obviously, the odds are that it's not going to go to the 3. There's statistical resistance here that it's going to be another 3 in a row. So we want to start our bets here, and we would bet our 1 bet here. Now, again, the same scenario occurs. If this goes to a 3, okay, and we lost that bet, then we wait again till the situation occurs again. If this goes to a 2 in a row again, now here it is again. Now here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 threes, okay, without a 2 in a row. So here's a potential 2 in a row. So then you'd want to take the next step of the progression and bet that it's going to go opposite to make this a confirmed 2 in a row. So if we win, we'd circle that, and we want our progression then. Okay, let's take it one step further here. If you have 3 threes without a 4 in between, then bet the next potential 3 goes to 4. So let's set a game up here. Say you're walking around and you see something like this. Okay, so here's our first 3. Well, as soon as that goes opposite, it's a 3. And then we're watching a game and you see 3 more banks. And then it goes over here to a 2 in a row to player. And this comes over here to another 3 in a row. And then that goes opposite for another 2 in a row. And then let's say, for instance, we see this. Okay, so there we have 1 3 in a row, 2 3 in a row, 3 3 in a row that did not go to 4, and we're presented with the potential 4 in a row here. We're going to bet that it will go to 4 in a row. Okay, you put it there. If it loses, same scenario again as before. Wait till the situation occurs again, and then bet that it's going to go a 4 in a row. And hopefully you win the first or second bet, as I did here. Pretty much the same principle as before, just a little different sequence of events, 3 in a row, 2 in a row, what have you. Okay, next scenario is after 2 independent zigzag runs of 3, bet the next one will go to 4. So let's take a look at that first. Let's go ahead and put a game in. Now remember, when you're playing triggers, you may see, especially as the game gets a little bit older while I'm filling in this game, you may see opportunities to run 2 progressions in the same game. Just make sure you're paying very close attention and not getting confused by things. Okay, so you walk up to this game here, and here's a zigzag run of 3. Now you must count. What zigzag simply means banker, player, banker, player, banker, player, as I'm sure you all know. You must count where it starts as the first zigzag run. So this is the first event of the first zigzag one. This is the second event, and this is the third event. So that's what a 3 zigzag run will look like. Okay, like that. Okay, there'll be 1 single out here on either side. Okay, let's continue. So say that's the first one. Then we see this again, and it goes back here, and then we get this. Okay, so there's the same pattern again. Here's the first of the zigzag. There's the second event of the zigzag run, and there's the third event. So that's a zigzag run of 3 right there. So there's 2 of them. 1, 2, 3. That's 1 event. 1, 2, 3. There's 2 events. Now, this scenario presents itself here. Okay, so there's the 1. There's the second event. There's the third event. What you're going to bet now is that it's not going to end at 3. Okay, you're going to bet that it's going to go to 4. It's going to go zigzag again. Instead of this turning into a 2 in a row as it did here, or here a 3 or more, a 2 or more, I actually should say, that it's going to go to the opposite side again, which creates a zigzag run of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So your bet would be there. Okay, let's run through it again because it can be a little bit confusing. Let's make this a 3 in a row. Okay, so here's my pattern again. Now we just won it here, so that obviously we wouldn't bet this again. I'm just showing you this for example purposes. Okay, so there's our zigzag run of 3. There's the first one, then it goes opposite, and it goes back here. Our bet would go here, so that it goes 4. If we lost, see, we do this. It's the same pattern then. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Same 3 zigzag run if we lost. But since we won it, we want it to go 4 because here it just went 2 times to 3 zigzag run. We're going to bet a negative progression that it's not going to do it 5 times in a row. Okay, so let's see how it looks if we bet it and we lose the first couple. Okay, so let's say this is a new game. Okay, so here's our first zigzag of 3. Okay, then we go some more. Here's our second zigzag of 3. So 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Now here it comes again. Let me just go down one more so it's clear. Okay, so here it is again. Now it's set itself up. Now we're going to bet that it's going to go 4, so we're going to bet it here. Okay, let's say we lost. Then it goes again. Here it comes again. Zigzag 3. Now we're going to bet that it's going to go 4, so our bet would be here. Say we lost again. Let's let it go again. Here it comes again. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to bet it goes to 4. It won't repeat. Okay, so there we go. We bet it here. Let's say this time we hit it. Okay, pretty clear? All right. Okay, and then let's finally take a look at the last trigger, which is the exact opposite, pretty much, of the zigzag run of 3. Let's say, for instance, you walk up to a game and you see this. Okay, so here's a zigzag run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we see another one. Something like that. Okay, so before it was a zigzag run of 3, bet that it will go to 4 after you see 2. This is the exact opposite. After a zigzag run of 4 or more, bet the next one will stay 3. So let's take a look at this. Here's the start of the first zigzag run. That's 1, 2, 3. There's 4. Then it actually went to 5. So that's a zigzag run of 5. Okay, it's a 5 zigzag. So it's obviously a 3 or more. Here's a zigzag run of 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a zigzag run of 4. Okay. So you have zigzag runs of 3 or more. Okay. So now the next time after you see 2 of these, 4 or more, okay, so it must be a zigzag run of 4 or more, bet the next one will stay a 3. So what does that mean? Okay, so let's say that this goes opposite and then it comes back. So remember before we had that pattern. So here's our first event of the zigzag run. Here's the second, here's the third. You're going to bet that these zigzag runs are not going to continue. It's really all you're betting. So you're going to bet that instead of this going to another opposite or a zigzag, it's going to go to a repeat, which you would bet here. And then notice here, this is only a zigzag run of 3, where here you had 1 of 5 and 1 of 4, which is 3 or more. So you bet that it's going to stay just 3. Okay, so just for example purposes, let's look at it just one more time. Okay, so here's our first zigzag run of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's our second 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the next time you're only going to bet it's going to go to 3. So you're going to go here, here. You're not going to bet that it's going to go opposite again. You're going to bet that this is going to repeat. And you'd bet the same scenario, use a negative progression the same way as before. If you'd lose this, you'd wait till the next event presented itself and just go from a 1 to a 2 bet, or a 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, whatever your negative progression is. Okay, that's triggers. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you join us at Beat the Casino. Don't forget to sign up for the Professional Baccarat Players Forum and talk to other players who are playing triggers.
I'm here with Jeremiah, one of our top players from beatthecasino.com. Jeremiah, did you have a good time playing tonight?
Had a great time.
Did you win some money?
I won a lot of money.
All right, would you tell anyone to join?
If you are not a member, you have got to join up. It is the best out there.
Hey, don't forget to check out our website for the latest Baccarat and Blackjack information. We have players from all over the world. The best players in the world are members of our website. You could be a member too. Don't forget, beatthecasino.com.